users that aren't here, and let's dive into it. Okie dokie. So let me expand. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so today's agenda for the final time. This week, I really want to help you understand why your current content isn't converting. So ultimately, why what you're putting on social media right now just isn't getting you the inquiries that you want. Helping you start to become more intentional with posting and understand that every single post you do has a purpose in the structure of your business, which we'll go into a bit more. Understanding the difference between content and your messaging, because they are very different. And to start to come up with a content plan that's going to really speak to the soul of your ideal client at every stage of the buyer journey. And that's what we're going to go through today. So, right now, I just want you to have a quick brainstorm, and we're not going to spend hours journaling on this. Just what is your current content strategy? What is your plan when it comes to content every single week? Just write down what you think you're doing right now, like any strengths, any gaps. And you might read this question and go, I don't have one. And that's absolutely fine. So do you just post just to stay active? You know, as a business mentor told you, you need to post every single day. So you try to post every day. Does every single piece of content you have right now have intent? Is it intentional? Is it aligned with the overall goals of your business? Whether that's to bring more inquiries, to bring more leads, to bring more eyes to your page. And ultimately, what are the results from your efforts? Like, do you have a consistent lead flow? Do you have people reaching out to you? What's happening at the moment? And what I basically want to do tonight is probably get you realizing that you don't have an intentional strategy, that there's obvious gaps as to why your content isn't converting, but to help you fill those gaps so that we can start to create content that does bring more clients. And the thing about content is every single piece of content should be intentional. With every single post that you do, it should have purpose. And every time you go to create a piece of content, whether you do it in batches, whether you do it as you go, when you're sitting down to film something for, get on Canva, whatever you're doing, you should be asking yourself, like, why am I posting this? What do I want to achieve from this? So, for example, if the goal from this post is I want to convert people that are close to buying from me, then it don't matter how many likes you get. You don't care about that. If the goal is to bring in more followers, then we should be measuring that, not how many inquiries you get off the back of it. Every single post you do should be aligned with the business's ecosystem and goals. So what I mean by this is, where is this post in alignment with what you're trying to achieve this month? So you should know pretty much most of what your plan is for the year, or at least the next quarter, or at least the next month as a minimum, what you're trying to achieve. I.e., when are you going to be doing a promotion? When are you going to be pushing for clients? When are you going to be trying to get more engagement with your audience? Like me and Leanne sat at, I think it was either back end of the year, at the start of the year, we just mapped out the whole year of when are we promoting, when are we trying to nurture our audience, when are we really focusing on retention, etc. So if you know that I've got a launch coming up in like a couple of weeks' time, your content should be aligned with that. If you're trying to take on more clients, your content should be aligned with that. And every single post you should check to ensure that it truly speaks to your niche, truly speaks to your ideal client. It's not generic. It's not something that could be on anyone in this group's page. This is so specific to your niche. It's relevant, it's specific, and it speaks to their wants and not needs. And we'll expand on that a bit more in a bit. But remember that the content is for the client, not us. We don't speak to what they think they need. We have to speak to what they want, and that will get them bought in so much more. So the 3 rules of intentional content. Design every single piece of content with your dream client in mind. Is it relevant to their wants and needs? Is it relevant to what they want? Is the language relatable? Like, if you're talking to people about building muscle, don't use words like hypertrophy unless you're speaking to advanced bodybuilders. They don't care. Don't speak to about muscle protein synthesis. They don't care. Like, use the language they use. Use the icky words like toned and we know it's not a thing, but they know what that means. And does it actually help them? Are they taking something from that post? Every single post should have a purpose. You should know when you're creating it in mind, what are you trying to do with that post? Are you trying to convert and get sales? Are you trying to build authority? Is it in alignment with your overall strategy? And ultimately, it should reflect your zone of genius. It should show why you're different. It should show your personality. It should show why you are the one for your specific niche. And if you look at a post and go, that could be on anyone's page, it looks like ChatGPT wrote it, because they probably did. It could be on any fat loss coach's page. It's not good enough. It needs to be you. And it needs to show your expertise, your knowledge, and your personality. Like, are you dry and sarcastic? Get that on there. Are you to the point? Are you empathetic? Like, that needs to come across in the wording that you use. So we're not going to dive too deep on this today because this is something that I do spend a lot of time on with like my one-to-ones, like really getting clear on this. But something that I do want you to spend some time on after this and using these prompts is really, really, really understanding your client, because I really don't think people spend enough time truly understanding their ideal client inside out. We look at surface level goals. They want to lose weight. They've been to Slimming World. They want to lose weight for summer and fit into a size 10. That's not good enough. Like, you are not going to make content that speaks to someone's soul. So you need to know what they want. And like you would do on a consultation call where you dig, why do they want that? What happens if that doesn't change? They want to lose weight because they've spent their whole life unconfident and they're sick of it and they finally want to know what that feels like. That is speaking to their soul, not do you want to lose 2 kilos? So get deep on their goals, their dreams, their aspirations. Why the hell do they want this? Understand where they're at right now, the pain points, the struggles, the barriers. But again, being so specific on it. Yo-yo dieting, what does that mean? What specific diets have they done? How long have they done them for? Why can't they stick to it? What do they think the problem is? That you need to understand that deep. How are you the solution? How are you the bridge they need to cross? How do you fill the gap? What do you do? What are your methods? And speak like they think. Think about the phrases that people say to you on consults. I just need more willpower. Binge eating, even though we know it's not binge eating as in like binge eating disorder, they use words like that. So you have to know your ideal client almost better than they know themselves, because that's what's going to allow you to create content that makes them go, that's me. Fuck. So something to spend some time on after this is using these 4 prompts, and you should have like 5 pages of notes on a Google Doc. That's how deep you want to go on this. So why is the current content not converting? You might already have a few light bulbs from just some of the things I've said there, but here are some of the main reasons why I find that people's content doesn't convert. There's too much like how-to content, like how to hit your protein, how to do a lat pull down, 5 ways to hit your steps, right? None of that is going to like give people a deeper insight. None of that is thought-provoking or making people think a different way or realizing that they've got a problem and you're the solution. Like, they might save it, you might get like a shit ton of likes on it, great, but you're not going to convert off the back of it. You're following trends, like you don't have like a clear structure. There's no like clear sales focus or messaging focus. You just kind of copy what other people are. Loads of people are doing carousels, loads of people are doing those videos where they see someone make a recipe, now I'm going to copy that, but there's no like clear strategy for yourself. The messaging is very scattered. So, you know, you're talking about maybe food freedom, but then you're talking about something else, and then there's no like repetition in the things that you're talking about. It's not that clear what you actually do and who you help. There's irrelevant content. So if you're speaking to, you know, very, very, very overweight women who want to lose weight and get out of the yo-yo diet cycle, they don't care how to do a lat pull down. They don't care what the best workout split is. You know, you need to speak to what they want. You're inconsistent, so you'll do, you know, 3 posts a week, then you won't post. Like, we spoke about this last time, you need to be on your audience's mind. Like, you need to be the one they think of when they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Bam, that person. And a lot of that does come from being constantly there, you know, on their feed, in the stories. You focus too much on engagement over sales. Maybe you've done a course. I know I've invested into these courses before, more money than I'd like to admit, of how to go viral, and you just want to get more likes and views. Likes and views are great, but it doesn't convert to sales. Like that reel, I don't know if you guys have seen it. By the way, go do the recipe because it's great. On that low calorie cake I made, it's got like 300 saves or something ridiculous. None of them are paying me for coaching, I'll tell you that now, because they just want to know how to make a low calorie cake. So don't focus solely on engagement. Like, some of my best posts that have converted had like 2 likes. And this sounds harsh, but there's no personality. It's just bland facts. There's no voice, there's no you, there's no connection. It's just basic, mundane. And that ain't good enough. And what you need to realize is that content is part of your ecosystem, which basically is just the infrastructure of your business. Consistency builds trust and guides your audience. So every single piece of content that you do is part of this consistency to nurture your audience, to bring more people into your world, to make them trust you more, and take your audience from here to here. Every piece of content should align with your business goals. So you should know, when am I pushing my one-to-one? When am I pushing my group? When am I just nurturing ahead of it? And your content should be very much in line with that. And each post should fit into the customer journey from knowing you exist to signing up. And that's what I'm going to really show you is how to do that tonight. Now, this is something you might have heard about, seen, been told by a mentor, but I'm going to go through it again because you might have seen all these different models, know, like, and trust, the AIDA model, cold to warm leads, etc. Like all these different models, they do the exact same thing, but they're all really important to know because the ultimate goal of each model is the exact same thing. It's kind of like, how we package up calorie deficits in different ways, Slimming World, it all ultimately achieves the same thing. Your content needs to let people know that you exist. You need to bring more people into your world, into your funnel, whatever you want to call it. Your content needs to let people know what they're missing or doing wrong. Your content needs to position you as the authority, as the go-to person to fix this. Your content needs to present what you do in your service as the answer to their problem. And then you need to ask people, basically, do you want what I've got? Invite them in. That's it. You can package it up in any framework you want, but that's it. And as long as you know that, you're good. And that is what you need to do in your content. And this is the content strategy you want to take people from unaware to ready to buy. Because you've got this buyer's journey. You've got people that don't even know you exist, right? They don't know they have a problem necessarily, but most importantly, they don't know that you exist. So this kind of content is getting people aware that you exist, making people know that you are a person relevant to kind of what they want, maybe that you exist. Then you've got a problem aware audience. They know something's wrong, but not the right thing. So they might think, for example, that the problem is that they just need more willpower. I want to lose weight. I just need more willpower. But they don't actually realize the problem isn't the willpower. The problem is that they've been doing all these bad diets that make them think that that's a problem. So what we need to do there is make them realize, actually, this is why you're struggling. You've then got a solution aware audience. So they know actually what the problem is now. They know solutions are available, but they don't know which one to pick. Right? I know now the problem is the diets that I've done. I know now I probably need to not do a restricted diet, but I don't know what to do. You need to position your solution. Then you've got people that now are aware of you and your solution, but they don't quite trust it. Oh, it's a lot of money. Oh, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. So this is where we need to make people who are product aware trust you. Know that you're the one. Believe that you can help them. And then you've got those people who are ready to buy. They just need a nudge. And that's where those I'm taking on clients, where your stories, the testimonials, the object, all these things, that's where you then get those people to take action who are so close, they just need activating. And all you're doing is taking people from someone who doesn't know you exist all the way on this journey to being ready to take action. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do tonight. Before we do that, though, I do want to talk about content versus messaging, because content is just ultimately the post, the value, the information that you share. Messaging is how you position it to resonate with your client. And messaging is the difference between you bringing in clients that aren't aligned. We've all had them, the ones that just don't fit with you, not signing up clients, and just having nothing, no traction, no momentum, nothing. So signs that your messaging needs a lot of work is you're attracting the wrong audience. People are inquiring and you're reading their inquiry form and you're just like, oh, it's not really a bit of me. Maybe you're very much about food relationships and food freedom, and they're like, I want to lose belly fat and shred, and you're like, I don't really align. You're constantly getting pricing objections. Like, even if you've got quite a low price point, people are like, oh, I can't afford it, like constantly, chronically. And obviously on the side of that, you're getting no inquiries, no engagement, or you're just really feeling lost. I don't really know what to post. I don't know what to say. When your messaging is on point and you know how to position it, you never have that problem ever. So just a few quick, like I could literally have done like 3 hours on messaging, but just some quick tips to help you on this. You are going to be seen as the more reliable source through specificity. The generic 3 tips to hit your protein, how to hit 10,000 steps, it's not enough anymore. The industry is saturated. Some people say it's not, some people say it is. There's a shit ton of fitness coaches, a shit ton of PTs. So you need to speak directly to your audience's struggles and emotions, like cut through the crap, cut through the bullshit, specific AF. Because this creates this like mind reader effect where our clients feel truly seen and people slide in your DMs. Have you ever read a post or a story and just gone, yeah, that's me. I relate to that. Yep. And then you've inquired. then you've bought the thing. That's from this style of messaging. So the actionable messaging tip on this is, I call it the can I see it test. So when you're describing something, can someone vividly picture themselves in the scenario? So an example, you feel confused about nutrition. Very generic. Whereas if you worded that in a caption and put, you're at Sunday lunch with your friends, but you're not fully present. Your mind races with thoughts about food, which foods are good or bad, and how much weight you're going to gain. Someone can literally picture that. And that might not be the exact scenario. But what if a couple of days before they were like, yeah, I was sat in the office at work and someone passed some cake around and I was like, can I eat this? Am I going to gain fat? And they start to resonate with that so much more. So if someone cannot see the exact scenario with what you're describing, it's too generic. So paint pictures, tell stories. And on that note, tell stories, not facts. Here's why you should stop cardio for toning. Just tell the story with it. Like, mums, I see you. You're avoiding weight because you're terrified of getting bulky. You're Googling the same 5-minute ab routines on YouTube from that 20-year-old Gymshark influencer, wondering why nothing's changing. Let me explain why. And then you give the same value about why this cardio isn't working, but you're telling a story through it. People will connect with that so much more because they're like, yep, that's me. I'm on YouTube doing these belly fat workouts and nothing's changing. They relate to that so much more. Try and make the intangible tangible. So something like mindset, that's quite an intangible measure, like lose 20 kilos, it's measurable, mindset, things like that, confidence, not very tangible, but trying to make it in a way that people can actually understand, using numbers, using metrics in a way that people can actually measure and feel and understand and connect to. So rather than, you'll reach your weight loss goals faster if you work on your mindset. You've tried dieting 50 times, you need to eat less and move more, but by week 4, you're raiding the biscuit tin, wondering what's wrong with you. The issue isn't your food plan, it's your mindset. So you're basically telling them the exact same thing, but you're using things that they can measure, things that they can see to make them connect with it so much more. And speak to symptoms, not problems. So if you're doing a post about taking on clients, this is for women ready to lose weight. Symptoms, you're ready to feel confident enough to wear whatever you want. No more hiding in baggy hoodies or blaming it on your fashion choices. It's time to stop lying to yourself, like calling people out, speaking to the symptoms, not just the problems. And another one, stop the dry hooks. Like storytell, like when you put a hook on a caption, on a post, how to lose 5 kilos, how my client lost 5 kilos. It's boring. Really bring people in. If you want to lose weight and actually keep it off, here's why this simple mindset shift will change everything. Expand on it. Like, you want someone to read that hook and be like, oh my God, like I want to read that. So stop the boring how-tos, top tips for engaging hooks will actually get people reading your content. So those are just some start points on messaging. Now, in terms of the content strategy, the 5 kinds of content that you need, because remember, if we go right back, this is all we're trying to do. This is all you're trying to ever do with your content. In its simplest form, taking someone from knowing you exist to wanting to take action. And there's 5 kinds of content that in an ideal world, you get out every single week, which means that you're speaking to every single person on that journey. And every single person who watches your content is going to be somewhere on that journey. And if we just focused on one piece of content, we just have people stuck in one space. The idea is we're just moving people along that conveyor belt with every single piece of content we do. Just move them, to take people all the way from here to here. And not everyone is going to go from here to here. But the more people that we push across, the more clients you're going to get. And that's it in its simplest form. So the 5 kinds of content that you need. The first is awareness content. So basically letting people know you exist. We talked about that a little bit last week with the fearless visibility. And I'm going to just expand on that a little bit. Then making people aware of their struggles. Making people problem aware. Making people solution aware. I'm going to expand on all these now. Like, we'll just go into them, right? So first things first, awareness content. So the customer status, the person, the lead, the whatever you want to call them, they don't know you exist. So the idea behind this post is I want to let more of my ideal audience know that I exist in its simplicity. So it's to bring in ideal leads, people in your niche, into your world. Simple. How do we do that? Something called growth content. Now, growth content is something that's going to get you follows. It's going to get engagement. It's going to get people watching it. So I would very heavily recommend you do Reels for this because Reels get pushed out the easiest to non-followers. Now, The biggest thing on this is you have to add the call to action to follow. If you don't, you still could get follows, but just telling people to follow for more, you will get followers. Like if you saw my stories today, I did this with one of my clients. We got her to do a reel about working with the split that she would give to people who, if they're busy, because she works with like high achievers. She got 10 followers off the back of it. Like she never gets followed. She never gets new people in her world. She got 10 ideal people follow her just from that strategy. So what you want to think about with this is, what makes you follow someone? When you're scrolling that For You page, because we all do it, like, don't lie, you all do it. What makes you actually stop and click follow? It's something fun in it, like, workouts or recipes or just something a bit funny, like a bit of a skit. Maybe it's educational, maybe it's like, these are the best 5 content ideas to gain clients. You stop and watch that. Maybe it's relatable, maybe you can relate. So some ideas on this. Some entertainment ideas, like what I eat in a day, if it's relevant to your niche. Remember, don't do something that's irrelevant to your niche. So maybe, for example, if you're postmenopausal and you work with menopausal women, it could be like what I eat in a day to stay in shape as a menopausal woman. That's going to bring more menopausal women who are interested in staying in shape into your world. Very clickbait, very watchable. What I eat in a day as a fat loss coach who doesn't eat chicken and rice every single day, right? Something like that. That will bring people into your world who maybe want to lose weight, who don't want to be like a bodybuilder. Workout tips and ideas, but again, is it relevant? If you're working with the ex-Slimming Worlders, they probably don't give a shit. If you're working with people who want to like level the fuck up their training, here is my go-to workout to help grow my glutes. Follow for more. You're gonna get follows from people who do want to build muscle. Skits, so maybe you could do like the fake Slimming World scenario, you see like the 2 characters, recipes, the call out style videos where you're calling out a concept. Those are entertainment ideas. Value ideas, you could do form tips, so like, here's how to perfect your lat pull down. Meal ideas, here's my go-to meal idea. Maybe if you work with busy professionals, you could do like quick and easy recipes. Mindset tips, something like how to run your first 5K in 3 steps. Relatability, so you could do some like POB, you're a busy mom trying to juggle fitness, motherhood, and a social life, and it could just be like, if anyone's seen that reel of that woman like running around, and it's like a funny sound, you'll know what I mean if you know it, something like that. But the easiest way to think about it is just think about the hook. What brings this person in? It could be the actual like this, it could be the visual hook, etc. So you need to play the game. What's going to draw someone in? Add the value, add the context, and this could be in the caption or the video. Ask for the follow. And if you do this every single week and you do it well, you will get more aligned, ideal clients following you every single week, which is what we want. Now, some bonus ways that you can get more awareness. We did kind of touch on these last week, but just to remind you, collabs, so podcasts. So like I've done some guest podcasts with people. I've got a few of her clients following me and then etc. Joint lives with coaches and people in your niche that are similar. Cross-posting with clients, collabing with micro-influencers. Boosts/ads, they can work. I wouldn't pour a load of money unless you know what you're doing with it. And then cross-posting. So if you post something like one of these kind of posts on TikTok and people like it, they might come and then follow you on Instagram. Brilliant. Instagram's where we can nurture them more. So that's awareness content. So someone now who's followed you, they're an ideal client, brilliant, happy bloody days. Usually what happens now is this person knows that they have a problem, but not the real problem. So like I said, they can't lose weight. They think the issue is they eat too many carbs. They don't have enough willpower. So the idea behind this is you need to make them aware of the actual problem. Make them go, fuck, that's why I'm stuck. And this is problem awareness content. And an easy analogy to understand why this is really important is, let's just imagine someone has this persistent headache and they like, oh, it's because I'm dehydrated, so I need to drink more water. And they keep drinking water and the headache never goes. But then they're scrolling one day on Instagram and they see a reel about, have you got a persistent headache that just won't go? You think the problem is dehydration, but actually there's a really common allergy going around at the moment and this is why. And they're like, that's what I need to do to fix it. And that's what your content needs to do. It needs to make your audience aware of actually why are they not getting the result they want. Because if they don't know this, they're not going to see your solution as relevant. If they think the problem is they're eating too many carbs, they don't think your coaching program's like what they need. So they're never going to inquire. They're never even going to look at your content about it. So the steps to create problem awareness content you need to really understand what your ideal audience thinks the problem is versus what the problem is. So what kind of things do they think it is? Is it that they think the problem is they just need to go to the gym more if they want to lose weight, to tone up? Is the problem they think it's willpower, etc.? You need to understand what your clients are currently doing that isn't working. So you need to understand, like, what are they doing right now that isn't working, which is keeping them stuck. And you basically just need to give them that light bulb moment to go, this is why you're stuck where you are. Because remember, right back to week 1, thoughts leads to actions. They will never sign up, they will never inquire, they might even unfollow you if they have a problem that they don't think that you can fix. So some examples of some ethical problem awareness posts, like why you're not losing weight despite eating super clean. You go into the gym every day. Going to the gym every day won't solve your body image problems. Here's what will. Your slimming group clapping for every scale drop keeps you stuck in the binge restrict cycle. Here's why. Why tracking calories every day isn't helping you lose weight. It's basically giving them a aha moment to make them think differently. Feel free to steal those if that's relevant to your niche. I'm not precious, by the way. And this is kind of like a structure of how you could do it. And this structure is, you can put it into a carousel, you can do it into a talking reel, you can do it in a static post. But basically, I put it as slides because like carousel, but you can do this however you want. You need a hook to get someone to actually read the goddamn post or listen to your video. Make them problem aware. So if you think the problem is this, think again. Meet them where they're at, telling them where they're doing right now. This is where you're at right now. This is what's happening, but nothing's changing. Does that sound familiar? Then you shift the perspective. You show them this is why this isn't working for you. Then you want to give them that aha moment. We don't want to give them loads and loads and loads of value, just an aha moment to go. But when you do this, this is what is going to work for you. And then you can, at this point, give us a call to action. I wouldn't say it's essential. You could promote coaching. Ideal as fuck. If you've got a lead magnet that supports this, offer that out, or a podcast episode. Great for creating conversations. But the intention here is the light bulb moment. The intention here is not necessarily a sign up. The intention is to give people an aha moment. And if you can get into conversations off the back of the lead magnet, buzzing, happy days. Okay, so now this person knows you exist. This problem knows that the problem they thought it was is no longer the problem. Now we need to deepen the understanding of why what they're doing isn't working, but most importantly, that you are the one to fix it. So you need to make your audience aware that you are the one with this solution, that they can't fix this alone, and that you are the person to help. And this is agitational, so basically making them realize they're probably a bit more stuck than they think they are, and authority building content, like what you might have called as like value content in like other courses and mentorships that you've done. So to really nail this style of content, you need to understand like, what is this person trying to do now to fix the issue that isn't working? And again, think about specificity rather than you're trying to eat super healthy, super specific. So things like they know the scales are triggering them, binge eating, but they're still doing it. They know that gym workouts aren't really enough to make them lose weight, but they don't know what else to focus on. You need to have awareness of like what myths or industry practices that you disagree with so that you can bust these myths, show why these things aren't working. So like the blood glucose one's a big thing at the moment. You need to have a good understanding of what unethical things in the industry need addressing. So like things like coaches who worsen body image with like these one size fits all. But most importantly, you need to know what do they actually need to do to solve this problem and how it is that you are the one to do that. These things just help build up your messaging, because remember that people buy people with strong messaging. I won't do call out videos all the time and slam everything, but you need to be strong enough to go, this is why this doesn't work. This is why this is keeping you stuck. This is why this approach is a problem. Like if you can have that confidence about you, people will trust you a hell of a lot more. So how do we do this in a post? And again, I've done it in a carousel form as an example, but this is how you want to frame it. Always start with a hook. Slide 2 is problem awareness. So you think the problem is this, that, or the other, Then action steps. This is why this approach is not working. Here's what you can do to fix it. Give some value. Show them there's another way. Like, this is where you want to give the expertise. Give the tips. Then a final point. Then a CTA. Again, optional. We don't want a CTA on every single post. So maybe you've got a lead magnet. Maybe you are in a selling phase of your business, so you do want to push that out there more. Maybe you are just going to say, hey, do you know what? I've got the solution. If you're ready for it, DM me for coaching. But the main thing about this style of content is you position yourself as the authority by giving some value, giving some advice, giving someone help, but being confident in what you're saying, telling them why this isn't working, telling them why this is keeping them stuck, and this is what's going to change things for you. All right. So this person now knows you exist. This person now realizes that the problem they thought they had wasn't the problem. They know what the problem is, and they're aware actually of you're someone that can solve it for them and that you know how to do it. And they're starting to buy into it more because of how confident you're coming across, because the level of value you're getting, they might have even got some quick wins off your content. They're seeing how passionate you are, they're seeing how confident you are. But they need more confidence that you're the one that can make it happen. So the intention behind the solution experience / credibility content is to make them believe that you are the one to help them, showing them your expertise through the results, through your methods, so that they go, hey, you know what? Yeah, this person can really help me get me what I want. So how can we do that? Client results, social proof, probably the obvious one that you've heard of. So before and after photos, client testimonials, however you want to showcase that. Sharing your own personal achievements, because remember that you doing something is good evidence that you can do it. So, for example, breaking free from diet culture means I no longer panic about spontaneous lunches with friends. Here's how I did it. You might, if you follow, well, you all follow me on my fitness page. I'm talking a lot about how I'm using my coaching methods right now to lose fat, and it's working a dream. That's me showing my personal achievements and how it connects to my offer. Highlight like exact strategies and methods. So like the exact 5-step process I take all my clients through to add 3 inches to their glutes in 90 days. By the way, I've got no idea if that's a realistic statistic. So for all of you like transformation coaches who are like, dream on, sorry, don't ever be unethical in that, but talk about things like that. Here are the 3 things I get every single one of my clients who has broken the binge restriction cycle to do. Like the key processes, the results behind it. So this is just an example of what you could do about telling a story about how you got a client a result, and you can obviously tweak this to be about your own journey, your own struggles, etc. But what I was speaking to one of my one-to-ones about, and this is where most people go wrong with results and storytelling with authority, is you make it about you or you'll make it about your clients at the start. No one gives a fuck. And that sounds really awful. No one cares about your client, Mandy or Sarah or Jane or Jenny. No one really cares about your story. They care about them. You want to build your business and you go see on a business mentors page that Susan's managed to land 20 clients. You don't care about Susan. But if you read the caption and it talks about where Susan was and you're like, oh, yeah, I see myself in Susan. And now I'm seeing that Susan's managed to land all these clients and that Susan's building the life in Bali that I want on the beach in Dubai with the cocktails, because that's what all online coaches do. You trust that more because you see yourself in that. So if I can give you any tips and any advice on writing a banging piece of content about a client result, a client success story, your own journey, start with the client. Make it about the person reading it first and then show them how you did it with a client. And people will read that more because people care about themselves. They kind of don't care about that client unless it's their mom. All right. But the main structure, if you're going to do a post about a client, is where they were before, what she was stuck with, because the person will see themselves in that, what you did, the results, then the call to action. But if you can get the person seeing themselves in that client, like that client was where I am now, they're going to read it, they're going to connect with it, they're going to take action on it a hell of a lot more. The same with yourself. And then the final piece of content, personal brand content, because no one really buys like the coaching solution just on its own. There's so many of us, they buy you. They buy you as a person. They have to like you and want to work with you. Because you can have all the tools, you can have all the knowledge, all the skills, but if you just don't vibe, like there's certain people I follow that I think you're a genius, but you give me the ick. I'm never going to pay to work with that person. There's some people I'm like, I don't know if you're good at what you do, but I fucking like you. I'm more likely to sign up with that person. So you need to show your personality and the you behind the brand, the business. Because people buy from people, not just offers. So you need your audience to connect with you and see shared values. So some ideas, like Share moments that led you starting your fitness journey. And this kind of is similar to the last post. So your audience see the old you in where they are now. They're going to relate to you more. Talk about beliefs that you actually used to have about fitness and weight loss and how this has changed and how this transformation's helped you. Because again, they're like, oh yeah, she's a real person. Show like challenges and things that you've worked through that your audience will relate to. And be like, yeah, I can relate to that. Share your values and how they align with your work. So for example, if you really value family, talk about you working with mums, or show how you balance everything around your family. If you value like success, show that you're just grafting and working hard. But also, I've not added this on here, just show other elements of you. What makes you the person that you are? Like, I signed up with my last coach. Honestly, I was looking at about 5 different people. The thing that pushed me over the edge was she loves Disney. And I was like, mint, we're going to get on fine. Brilliant. I signed up with the coach before that, the woman before that, because she was dry, sarcastic to the point. And I was like, mint, we're going to have banter. Show who you are behind Just Fitness, because you all are an individual person. You all have a unique personality. And it's fine to put people off you. You don't want to work with people that aren't in your vibe. If you love banter and being dry and sarcastic, you want to be able to have that with your clients. Like, all my clients know that I'm to the point. We have a bit of banter. We have a good laugh. Anyone who's bored, I don't attract boring people because I don't want to work with them. I want people I can have fun with. So yes, you can just do your weekly dumps, and I do advise you do things like just posting bits about your life as well, but also tell your story through things. Talk about where you were, what you struggled with, what was your turning point, and be like, do you know what? Yeah, if I can do this, if I've gone through all this and I can be this person, you can too. There is nothing stopping you being that. People will have so much more trust, so much more respect when they go, do you know what? Yeah, she wasn't born out of the womb. I think people genuinely think we're born out of the womb, like bench pressing and eating chicken and rice and shit. Like, we're not. We've all been there. We've all had our personal battles. And if you can showcase that and make people realize, yeah, she's a real human. She's been where I am. They're going to connect with you more and trust you. And proof in the pudding that this works. We had an inquiry last week. And when I genuinely asked, like, what was the reason that you inquired with us? She struggles with autism. And she went, I read all your stuff about ADHD and neurodiversity. And I just actually think that you guys can actually listen and help me. That was what